The Antique Shops. Part 1. The Foggy Street and the Lost Oil Lamp Light. Tonight, it is drizzling. Not a noisy shower, but tiny water dust particles, fluttering in space like a thin curtain of mist. Imagine, you are walking alone on an old cobblestone street. The sound of your shoes tapping on the wet road surface, ringing out clop sounds, echoing against the old brick walls on both sides of the road. This street, it seems you have never passed through before. The houses here are all low, mossy tiled roofs. Doors bolted shut silently. There is no electric light, only iron street lamp posts with classic curved patterns, radiating a sickly yellow light, weak, trying to penetrate the screen of dust rain. You pull up the collar of your trench coat to avoid the draft, feeling slightly chilly, but it is the pleasant cold of late autumn days. The surrounding space is absolutely quiet. No traffic noise, no sound of people talking and laughing. Only the sound of rain falling pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. You keep walking in that soothing indefiniteness. You don't know where you're going, but your feet seem to be guided by an invisible intuition. And then, at the end of the small alley, where the streetlight cannot reach, you see a warm, amber spot of light. You step closer. That is a small shop, nestled between two walls covered with vines. The entrance door is made of shiny black ebony, thick and sturdy. On the door hangs an old brass wind chime. The wind blows past. Clang, clang. The bell sound rings out, sounding like the sigh of the past. Next to the door is a wooden sign hanging dangling. The writing has faded because of time. You cannot read the shop name clearly, but you know this is exactly the place you need to come to. A strange attraction urges you to place your hand on the cold brass doorknob. The shape of the doorknob is cast into the shape of a hand spreading out, as if wanting to hold your hand. You hesitate a bit, take a deep breath of the smell of rain and moss, then gently turn the knob. Click. The door opens. A completely different stream of air rushes out to welcome you. It is not cold like outside. It is warm, and it carries a scent. Oh, this scent. That is the smell of old paper, the smell of burning sandalwood, the smell of beeswax candles, and the smell of secrets that have slept for centuries. You step across the threshold and close the door behind your back. The sound of rain falling outside immediately dies out, as if you just stepped into another dimension, where time has stopped flowing for a very long time. Welcome to the antique shop. The light in the shop is very dim. The only light source comes from oil lamps hanging on the wall, and large candles placed scattered on the wooden shelves. Shadows dance flickeringly on the towering ceiling. You look around. The room is much larger than you imagined. It is like a maze of old items. Oak shelves high touching the ceiling, stacked full of strange items. A pendulum clock stands towering in the corner of the room. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The sound of the second hand moving slowly, deep and dull, like the heartbeat of the house. Each tick-tock, ringing out, makes the space even more quiet. On the floor are spread Persian carpets that have faded. You walk on the carpet. Soft, not a sound. You feel like a ghost or an uninvited guest. No. Here, whoever comes is a person of destiny. In the dark corner of the cashier counter You vaguely see a human figure, the shop owner. He, or she, sits silently on the crimson velvet upholstered armchair, the face hidden in the shadow of the wide-brimmed hat, only seeing the thin hands fingering a jade chess piece. The shop owner says nothing, just nods slightly to greet you. That nod replaces the words, "Just make yourself at home. Let the items choose you." That's right. Here. You do not choose the items. The items choose you. Each item lying still on that shelf is observing you. They are whispering. They are waiting for the person who hears their stories. You begin to walk along the dust-covered rows of shelves, sparkling dust particles flying in the air under the yellow light look like tiny spirits. The feeling of nostalgia wells up in your chest, a vague sadness, but beautiful. You walk slowly, to listen to the call of the past. Shh. Walk very softly. Don't disturb the layers of time dust sleeping peacefully on these objects. Let us go deeper into this maze of memories to find which item is calling your name. Part 2. The Music Box and the Dance of Waiting. You continue walking between two towering rows of wooden shelves. Light from shimmering candles casts onto inanimate objects, making them seem to be moving every time you glance past. An old typewriter with worn-out keys, a film camera, the lens pitch black like an eye watching, a chipped porcelain tea set, but still retaining the haughty look of a golden age. Suddenly, you stop in front of a small wooden table lying in a hidden corner. On the table surface, covered with a thin layer of dust, is a small wooden box. It is not too outstanding, made of dark red mahogany, turned shiny black. On the box lid are inlaid sparkling mother-of-pearl pieces, forming the shape of a fading rose. Your heart skips a beat slightly. You know, this is it. You reach out. Your fingertips touch the box lid. The cool feeling of wood, mixed with a bit of roughness of dust, transmits to your flesh a slight shiver. You slowly open the tiny brass lock in front. Click. The sound of the latch popping open rings out dryly. You lift the box lid up. Inside the wine-red velvet lining layer that is frayed is a tiny ballet dancer. The paint layer on her dress has peeled off. One arm has been broken off by half. She stands there, on a rusty spring, in an eternal bowing posture. Next to the dancer is a small oval mirror. The mirror surface has yellowed, spotted with marks of time. You look into the mirror and see your own eyes reflected in it, deep and a bit melancholic. You see the winding key lying on the side of the box. You place your hand on it, turn gently, creak, creak. The sound of gears rubbing against each other, labored, dry, like the dry cough of an old person. You turn one more round, creak, and then you let go. The dancer begins to spin, and music rings out. Ting, ting, tong, ting, ting. The melody is slow, disjointed, each note falling into the quiet space. That is a sad piece of music that you have never heard before. The clear music sound of metal, but carries a tinge of resentful sorrow. Listen more closely. Ting, the waiting. Ting, the nostalgia. Tong, the separation. When hearing this piece of music, a strange stream of memory begins to flow into your mind. It is not your memory. It is the memory of the box. You see in your mind an attic room in Paris on a rainy day in the 19th century. A man is sitting by the window, hand holding this music box. eyes looking far away at the Eiffel Tower blurry in the mist. He is waiting for someone, a girl who promised to return when this piece of music ends, but she never returned. He kept winding the spring, winding forever, winding forever. So the music never stops, so hope never extinguishes. His sadness has seeped into the wood grain, seeped into every rubbing gear, and now it is seeping into you. The dancer still spins, spinning in eternal loneliness, but strangely, this sadness does not make you painful. It soothes you instead. It tells you that being sad is okay too. Waiting is also a form of love. Ting, ting. The music sound slows down, slows down. The dancer spins the last rounds, weakly, then stops completely. The space returns to its inherent silence. Only the echo of the music sound remains hovering in the air. You stand there, dazed. A tear unconsciously rolls down your cheek, not because of suffering, but because of being moved by the beauty of fading. It suits you very well. A hoarse voice, low and deep, rings out right next to you. You startle and turn back. The mysterious shop owner has stood there since when? His shadow casts long on the bookshelf. His face is still hidden in the shadow, but you can feel a kind smile. I want to buy it, you whisper. The shop owner shakes his head slightly. Here, we do not accept money. He steps closer, looking at the music box. Money is an inanimate object. It is not worthy to exchange for a soul. He looks up at you. To take this box home, you must pay with something else. That is a promise. What promise? You ask. The shop owner places his thin hand on the music box lid, gently closes it. Click. Promise that, whenever you feel loneliest, open it. And remember that sadness is also a friend. Don't run away from it. Dance with it. That is the price of this box. You are silent, pondering. You nod. I promise. The shop owner smiles. Transaction completed. He picks up the box, wraps it carefully in a piece of night blue velvet cloth, then places it in your hand. Holding the item in hand, you feel it warming up, as if the soul inside is saying thank you for finding a soulmate. Part 3. The room of sleeping time and the smell of old paper. You gently pull the wine-red velvet curtain to one side. The heavy velvet fabric layer, worn out, slides through your palm, leaving a silky, soft feeling mixed with a bit of roughness of fabric dust. Before your eyes is a smaller room, lower ceiling, but extremely cozy. This is the place keeping the clocks, hundreds of clocks, all sizes, all styles. There are large oak wood casing wall clocks, carved with vine patterns meticulous to every detail. There are brass table clocks, turned dull brown, but still exuding a luxurious, contemplative look. And there, the pendulum clocks standing towering like old soldiers guarding the sleep of the house. The strange thing is, they have all stopped running. No hurried ticking sounds. No startling hourly chime sounds. The clock hands stopped at different moments. One is 3 hours, 15 minutes. One is 10 hours, 10 minutes. One is 6 hours, 30 minutes. The silence of machines is sometimes even more soothing than music. You walk amidst that forest of clocks. The scent here is truly special. That is the smell of vintage oil, mingled with the smell of cold metal and the smell of crisp dry wood. A masculine scent, classic and solid. You stop in front of a grandfather clock, tall touching the ceiling. Its wooden case has the black-brown color of roasted chestnuts. You reach out to touch the wood body, cool and smooth. You can feel the wavy wood grains under the fingertips. How many years already? 100 years? Or 200 years? This wood tree lived in the old forest, then was hewn by the workers' hands, then stood in the living room of some noble family, witnessing so many reunions and separations, and now stands here, resting. You look through the transparent glass layer in the clock body part. The huge brass pendulum lies still, shiny, reflecting the shimmering candlelight from the table next to it. The stillness of the pendulum makes you feel calm. No need to race against time anymore. Here, time has surrendered. You leave the clock area and walk towards the corner of the room, where there is a huge library table. On the table, and on the surrounding wooden shelves, is the world of paper. Ancient leather-bound books, rolled up nautical maps, and handwritten letters that have turned yellow, stained. You pick up a thick book. The book cover is made of tanned cowhide, rough, and has a characteristic passionate fragrance. The smell of knowledge, the smell of wisdom. You gently flip the book cover, the sound of paper rustling, crisp. Lean your nose close to the book page. Take a deep breath. Do you smell it? The smell of old paper. Scientists call that the smell of decomposing lignin. It is like the smell of sweet vanilla mixed with roasted almonds. So fragrant, so pleasant. You flip each page. Each page. The paper has an ivory yellow color. The paper edges slightly curled and frayed lightly. Lines of text printed in old-style black ink. Sharp, neat. You don't need to read the content. Just looking at those letters is enough to feel relaxed already. The letters dance silently, telling about distant lands, romantic love stories, or cooking recipes that have been lost. Next to the book is a world map spread wide on the table. The hand-drawn map. Ink has faded. Pale blue oceans, earth-brown continents, on it drawn sailing ships crossing waves, and legendary sea monsters in waters no one has explored yet. You glide your finger on the map, going from Europe to Asia, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. A trip by fingertip. Not expensive, not tiring. Only soaring imagination. Under the sickly yellow oil lamplight, everything in this corner of the room appears like a Rembrandt oil painting. Dark but warm, messy but full of art. You pull an old wooden chair out. Squeak. You sit down by that library table, leaning back against the chair. The feeling of being enveloped by thousands of old objects. They do not speak. They do not recount. They are just there, contemplative and loyal. Like old friends, sitting together without needing to say a single word. The stillness of objects seeps into you. You feel yourself also becoming a bit old, more contemplative, slower, and deeper. Your eyelids begin to get heavy because of the peace of the smell of paper and wood. Sleepiness creeps in like a layer of fine dust covering your shoulders. We will leave the corner of the room of paper and wood to step into another world, a world quieter, colder, but brilliant and haughty many times over. That is the world of ceramics and glass. Walk very carefully. Here, everything is fragile as smoke and mist. Part 4. Fragile Ceramics and the Dance of Crystal. You step over to the west area of the shop. Immediately, the atmosphere changes. If over there was the warmth, contemplativeness of brown wood. Then over here is the purity, coolness of porcelain white, and the transparency of crystal. Cool. Tall glass cabinets, curio cabinets, stand along the wall. Inside the dust-blurred glass layer are hundreds of exquisite ceramic items. Light from the candle in your hand casts into the glass cabinet, creating sparkling light rays, reflecting back, sparkling, shimmering, as if there are thousands of small stars being trapped in these cabinets. You stop in front of a bone china tea set, bone china from the United Kingdom. It is breathtakingly beautiful. Ivory white porcelain color, fragile to the point you feel light can pass through the cup wall. On that white porcelain background are pastel pink roses, old country roses, hand-painted meticulously petal by petal, and the cup rim line is plated with 24K gold, although faded a bit over time, but still gleams with a haughty aristocratic look. Imagine yourself opening the glass cabinet door. Squeak. The sound of rusty hinges rings out softly. You reach out to lift a teacup up. Oh, it is light as a feather, light as a dry leaf. The cool porcelain glazed surface touches your fingertips. Smooth, smooth as silk. You gently place the cup back on the saucer. Saucer. Clink. A sound rings out. Clear, resonant. That is the singing of terracotta passed through 1,000 degrees of fire. That sound spreads in the quiet space. Sounds truly pleasant to the ear, but also reminds you of its fragility. Just a little slip. It will shatter, and that very fragility makes its value. It has existed through so many decades, intact, to reach your hands. That is a miracle. Leaving the ceramic cabinet, you see a small round table displayed full of colored glass bottles. Flower vases, vases from the Victorian era. Cobalt blue, deep as the ocean. Ruby red, passionate as wine. Emerald green, emerald, mysterious of the old forest. They stand there, catching the weak light of the oil lamp and turning that light into liquid gems. You pick up an antique perfume bottle made of cut crystal, sharp cut lines, refracting light into 7 tiny rainbow colors dancing on your palm. Next to that are high-stemmed wine glasses, glass thin as paper. Dust covers blurrily on the glass wall, looking like a layer of winter frost. You dare not wipe away that dust layer, because that is the pollen of time. Look up at the ceiling. An old crystal chandelier, is hanging hovering. It is not lit. Teardrop-shaped crystal beads hanging down, covered with dust and cobwebs. But when you raise the candle high, the chandelier wakes up. Hundreds of crystal beads catch the firelight, reflecting, shimmering, creating a starry sky right above your head. The feeling of standing amidst these fragile items is truly special. It makes you have to move slower, breathe lighter. Temperament becomes gentler. The roughness, ruggedness of daily life seems unable to exist here. Here there is only beauty and cherishing. You put the crystal bottle down on the table. The cool feeling still remains on the hand skin. The surrounding space is so quiet. Only the sound of your own breathing and the silent presence of beautiful objects. They do not need words. Their beauty is the language, a language soothing the soul. Your eyelids begin to droop. The sparkling light of glass and ceramics dazzles you in a pleasant way. The spots of light blur, turning into magical dreams. And now, let's leave the sparkle of glass. We will find another corner of the shop, a softer, warmer place, where the warmth of human hands is kept through every needle stitch. Follow this flickering candlelight. Part 5. The old sewing machine and the quilt of patches. You step deeper inside. The space here narrows a bit, but is strangely cozy. The scent changes. No more smell of machine oil or old paper. Instead is the smell of aged fabrics, the smell of dried lavender stuffed in moth-proof sachets, and the smell of cedar wood. Before your eyes is a small corner arranged like a tiny sewing workshop of the last century. Most prominent is a classic Singer treadle sewing machine. The machine body is shiny black cast iron, painted with metallic gold floral patterns that have faded a bit. The wooden table attached to the machine is worn out in places where the worker often rested their hands. You step closer. Place your hand on the cold hand wheel. You try placing your foot on the pedal below. Press lightly. Creak, 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 creak. The sound of oil-dry metal rings out. It reminds of the image of grandmothers, mothers, diligently by the oil lamp, sewing warm clothes for winter. The sound of the sewing machine running steadily in the old days. Clack, 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 clack is the sound of silent love. Next to the sewing machine is a large cedar chest. The chest lid is slightly open. Spilling out are pieces of silk fabric, velvet fabric, lace fabric, all colors, but all carrying the sad, deep tones of the past. You see a patchwork quilt folded neatly on the chest lid. This quilt is completely hand-stitched. It is pieced together from hundreds of different scraps of fabric. There is a piece with small blue flowers, a piece with red stripes, a piece with plain brown velvet. You reach out to touch the quilt surface. The fabric quality is limp soft. Through how many washes? Through how many years? The fabric fibers are frayed, but that very fraying creates an extremely soft feeling. It is not rough and stiff like new fabric. It is soft as baby skin. Each piece of fabric on this quilt perhaps has its own story. This piece could be cut from a bride's dress. That piece could be from a shirt of a soldier returning home, all stitched together with meticulous, patient needle stitches. You pick up the quilt, hug it to your chest. The fragrant smell of old talcum powder and dried flowers radiates from the fabric grain. A comforting feeling invades you, like you are being hugged tight by a loved one who has gone far away. No need for words, just warmth. Nearby, on a low shelf, are old rag dolls and teddy bears that have lost fur. A chestnut brown teddy bear, missing one button eye, ears frayed. It sits there, leaning back against the wall, with a gentle and resigned look. It used to be the best friend of some child, used to be cuddled every night, used to be soaked with tears and smiles. And now, it sits here, resting after a long life serving childhood. You do not feel afraid of these old toys. On the contrary, you feel compassion and appreciation. They are silent witnesses of time. You gently put the quilt down, smooth out the wrinkles on the fabric surface. The soft feeling of fabrics makes your fingertips pleasantly tingle. Warmth spreads from there up the arm, relaxing your tense shoulders. The space in this corner is truly peaceful, like being in Grandma's bedroom, where time flows much slower than outside. Shh. The soft feeling of fabrics has soothed your tactile nerves. Now, we will come to the next part, the part for hearing. At the very end of the shop, where darkness is thickest, there is a storyteller by sound waiting. That is not a person, but a magical machine that can sing melodies of the last century. Go there and sit down. Part 6. The worn leather chair and the slow spinning vinyl record. You leave the sewing corner, walking towards the very end of the long, deep room. Here, the light is almost completely out. Only a single floor lamp with a turmeric yellow fringed silk lampshade remains, radiating a tiny round halo of light onto the floor. Under that light is a perfect duo of rest, an old Chesterfield-style leather armchair, and a mahogany gramophone. You approach the gramophone. The large brass horn blooms out like a giant lily flower. The brass surface is tarnished, spotted with moss-green oxidation marks, but its appearance still exudes pride and luxury. On the turntable, a shiny black vinyl record is already lying there. A thin layer of dust covers the tiny record grooves. You see the tone arm with the sharp stylus resting on the holder. A gentle urge makes you reach out. You grab the crank on the side of the machine. Turn gently. Creak, 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 creak. You are winding up the past. You are recharging memories. When the spring is tight, you gently lift the tone arm up. Bring it to the position above the vinyl record and lower it. Scratch. The sound of the needle touching the record surface. Then comes the characteristic crackling popping sound. Rustle, crackle, rustle. This sound, it is like the sound of rain falling on a corrugated iron roof, or the sound of wood popping in the fireplace. It is the white noise of the last century. It is rustic. It is authentic. And then the music starts. Not crystal clear digital sound, but mono sound, slightly distorted, slightly rumbling, but full of emotion. That is a slow jazz piece with a husky saxophone sound. Da, da, dee, da. The melody glides, winding like cigarette smoke. You turn around and look at the leather armchair. The chocolate brown leather layer has cracked with crow's feet. Those cracks tell the story of thousands of times someone sat down and stood up. You slowly sit down. Phew. The sound of the seat cushion releasing air when bearing your weight. The cool feeling of old leather touches the back, but then quickly warms up according to body temperature. This chair is so soft. It has been tamed over the years to embrace the human form most perfectly. It embraces your spine, supports your neck. You rest your feet on the small ottoman in front. Close your eyes. In this dark and quiet space, only the music from the brass horn remains. Rustle. Sound of vinyl record spinning. Dee, da. Melodious music sound. Music is like a stream of warm water, flowing past the ears, flowing down the shoulders, flowing down to the heart. It washes away all fatigue of the present. It takes you drifting back to an era where everything was slow. People wrote handwritten letters. People walked. People waited for each other. Your head gets heavier on the chair backrest. The fragrance of old leather, the smell of polishing wax, and the smell of music all blend together into a powerful sleeping pill. You feel yourself sinking down, sinking deep into the heart of the chair, sinking deep into the river of time. The vinyl record still spins. Circle, circle, steadily, hypnotic. Shh, it is time. The jazz piece on the vinyl record has reached the final notes. The saxophone sound fades, then stops completely. Only the sound of the stylus running on the empty record groove remains. Scratch, 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 scratch. That steady, repetitive sound is like the breathing rhythm of space. But then, even that sound needs to rest. The closing door and sleep in the dust of time. You reach out, very slowly, towards the floor lamp next to the chair. Your finger touches the pull chain switch. Click. The lamp turns off instantly. Darkness rushes back. But it is not a scary darkness. It is the darkness of absolute peace. Darkness having the color of aged mahogany. In this moment, the antique shop completely disappears from your vision. The clocks, the ceramic items, the old books, all recede into the dark night, becoming silent guards for your sleep. You curl deeper into the heart of the leather armchair. Imagine you are becoming the most precious antique item in this room. You are being preserved, being protected from the harsh flow of time outside. Here, a minute is as long as a whole century, and a sleep tonight will restore energy for a whole lifetime. Your breath blends into the contemplative scent of the room. Breathe in, the stillness of the past. Breathe out, the letting go of the present. Nothing left to worry about anymore. The world out there is still hurrying, still noisy, but it cannot touch you anymore. The thick, heavy ebony door has locked tight. The layer of time dust is slowly, gently covering your shoulders, covering your eyelids, like an invisible, fragile, and soft blanket. Your body is heavy. Your limbs are limp. Your mind stops drifting. It settles like a dewdrop on a leaf. Now, I will count down the last beats of the pendulum clock in the mind to send you off into the land of ageless dreams. 5. All sounds die out. The vinyl record has stopped spinning. 4. Darkness becomes smooth as velvet, embracing you completely. 3. You sink deep down to the bottom layer of memory, where everything is beautiful and peaceful. 2. Fading away. No more boundary between you and this space. 1. Time has stopped. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. In the embrace of yesterday. Sleep well